Yo, what's up, YouTube land? Those of you who have CIB Prime will see the new setup we have in the basement now. Subscribe for $9.99 a day.
So the ending of the last part, I accidentally skipped this part because I loaded a save file a little bit too soon, and I made this so we can watch it.
Do you think we're at the point where there's going to be subscription services that like even dare to try to do by the week or by the day eventually, because they're just pushing the envelope as much as they can?
I don't know. I think monthly is like as much as people are willing to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Life gets more dystopian every day.
I mean, if 10 years ago you'd be like, there would be 12 different subscription services and some people will just have them all, like, you would probably be like, no. It sucks because the way to make it best is just to have, like, one company like Netflix have all the stuff. And, like, that sucks because, you know, at that point Netflix could decide to become, like, a crazy bad monopoly.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with video games. Like, if there was a streaming service where it was like, you can play all the PC-only games and all the Xbox and Nintendo, that would be, like, great on paper. You'd be like, sweet, I'm just gonna get this one service. But slowly but surely everybody would start siphoning off their games. Do you remember what it started with when it comes to TV streaming services? What really got the ball rolling? One particular show was taken off Netflix, and it got the whole ball rolling.
What, The Office?
It was The Office. Yeah, this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. It was probably actually more than that, because literally they were like, it was on Netflix, and then NBC was like, The Office is like popular, and then whenever they had the rights like vacate, they were like, yeah, we're starting Peacock, and you have to watch The Office there, and people were like, dang it. But then everyone was like, well, I love watching The Office for the 45th time. Ben Brosman. So I gotta get Peacock. And then everyone else was like, oh, hey, remember this show that was cool? Sorry, you gotta have Paramount Plus now. Sorry, bro. And then it just kept going.
Yeah, and it's like, it's the worst type of competition because it's not them trying to innovate and make it better than Netflix. All they did was just remove things and then lock it to their thing.
Right.
It's like the worst type of competition.
You know what's odd? The only one that I'm like completely okay with is HBO Max. And I know that sounds dumb, but HBO was already a premium TV station. Like, you would have to have cable and subscribe to it. So I was like, oh, that makes sense, right? Like, it would, like, Showtime. I think there's a Showtime one as well, and Showtime was always a premium TV channel. So I was like, oh, that actually is cool. But then when something like NBC that you can literally get by having a TV with bunny ears, you can literally get NBC, right? And they're like, actually, we have a streaming service.
Actually...
And if ABC wasn't owned by Disney, ABC would have their own streaming service and all that. I think CBS has its own streaming service.
Man,
I'm not 80 years old, so I don't watch CBS.
That idea you had of everyone, or one company owning everything was almost realized before Disney, like, lost, like, millions and millions of dollars for being awful.
It's true.
But, Disney really looked like they were on top of the world. They were going to own everything after, like, Avengers Endgame came out. It made, like, $2.5 billion or whatever ridiculous number it made. But then after that, it was all downhill, and they never recovered.
Yeah, and they... I don't know how these companies can be so smart and so stupid at the same time. Like, a lot of these companies were like, they saw the numbers that they were getting during COVID, and they were like, surely this will last forever. And it's like, what? Like, that happened for so many things. That happened for video game companies.
Mostly, like, video game companies and tech companies in general, if they're, like, software or hardware.
Yeah. That does... It's just so stupid for them to not be like, okay, this is a bubble, eventually it'll go back down, let's plan accordingly. They were like, oh my god, stonks go up. Brrr, you know, stonks go brrr.
I think just the way that companies are run is that they only care about annual profits. They don't care about the future, they don't care about anything other than their annual report.
Right.
And it like, ruins everything.
It does.
And, like, that short-sighted, like, business, just chasing profits to appease shareholders literally is ruining the world. I don't want to get super anti-capitalist. I know everyone always talks about it all the time now, but it's true.
There's only a couple cases I can think of where companies just really put their customers first and people really, really like it. Costco's one. I personally hate going to Costco, but only because it's so busy. And that's not their fault.
Yeah,
it's not Costco's fault.
It's busy, and I guess just in my experience, I just don't like the attitudes of the employees that much.
It's really weird because we actually had a customer who, really good guy, named Zach. He moved to the South. So if he ever watches this, Zach, you're cool. And I have him on Facebook and stuff. Anyway, he worked at Costco, and I always talked to him about it, and he was like, I hate that job more than my life. I hate everything. And it's funny because, like, I get it. Like, I go there Wednesday right at opening.
Working there.
And it's just slam packed to the wall, right? And I can't imagine having an 8-hour shift where you're just checking out, like, your line of customers is always seven people long. And it's got to be all. I mean, you get paid really well. And people don't leave that job because you get super great benefits and super good pay. But it's like, I personally would never work there because it would just be like a dystopian hell where I would be like, cool, I have to just check people out and do nothing else. I mean, you get breaks and stuff like that, but while you're working, you are, like, working.
And I can understand the attitudes, like, sometimes they're, like, standoffish, and it's like, yeah, the job sucks. But, like, I am anti-personable. I have anti-charisma, but even, like, when I'm in my foulest mood, I try to be, like, polite to people. I don't know.
I mean, I can definitely... I mean, it's only one Costco in the entire world, but whenever I go there, I'll always be like, hello, how are you today? And they'll just be like, essentially. And it's like, alright, I'm trying. I'm not, like, being a Karen or anything like that. I'm just literally being like, hey, how's it going? Pretty busy day, huh? Or whatever. And it's like, I get it. But just meet it back 50%, you know?
And it's like, if you're less personable than me, there's something wrong.
I know would never work, but if I was Costco, I would... The thing that makes it such a bad shopping experience is they're mostly old people, at least when I go. But the old people just going there to shop for, like, 1 or 2 items, which I don't understand. Like, you go there to get, like, 1 rotisserie chicken, like... That's not the purpose of the store. I'm not saying you have to go there and spend, like, $1,000. But, like, for the love of God, please don't go to Costco if you're like, I need donuts and a head of lettuce, right? And you go to Costco, it's like, bro, you are clogging up everything for the people like me who are going for, like, a business to, like, fill up one of those big push carts with a bunch of drinks and, like, paper products and stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like... And they have self-checkout there. But the simple fact is they clog up everything.
Oh, they do? Is that recent?
Yeah, they have self-checkout. Yeah. I mean, I would never do it because I get, like, these huge, big things, and I don't want to mess it up because, like, 24 packs of Monster are, like, literally, like, $40 now. And I don't want them to, like, staring over me and being like, did you scan all those packs of Monster and whatever. Obviously, they still check your receipt at the end, but... And you can't do that. It would be like at our store being like, you can't window shop on a busy Saturday. You gotta buy stuff. Like, that's not possible. But
I think the other problem is that Costco has all those, like, extra benefits to their membership, like, you know, food court and like the eye doctor and, like, medication. They have a pharmacy. They have everything there. But it feels like sort of like a club. I mean, it's like literally a membership.
Yeah.
But, like, because they have all those, like, personable, like, individual, like, benefits, it's understandable that people go in there and they just, like, are a casual shopper. But then, like, the 99% of the rest of the store is not made for that at all. It's a really... When you think about it, Costco is, like, very contradictory in its approach. I mean, it works. They make $1 billion every second, but... It's pretty weird, too.
So, this is years ago. This is probably before COVID, but I used to go to the eye doctor at Costco, because actually I like him. I won't say his name, but he's a really, really nice dude who would, like... I would come in like once every year, and he'd be like, "Oh, how's the game store?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's like above and beyond of like knowing people." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" He actually came in a couple times to buy gift cards for his like nephews.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's been years, but
Yeah. But anyway, I don't even know if he's still the eye doctor there. And I remember one time I was like, I called up and I was like, I should get a new prescription. And I was like, can I set an appointment? And they were like, sure. It was, I don't know, say it was January. They were like, oh, we can get you in like May. And I was like, oh, I'll take anything available. I'll take any day, whatever. I'll just work around it. And they were like, no, that's it. Like May 15th. It was literally like 4 or 5 months away. And I was like, okay. And I hated to do it, but I was like, I can't go to a place where like the first place they can seat you in is like 5 months later. Because then what about next time? You know what I mean? It's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
So I go to a place on Main Street now in Ephrata, and it had nothing to do with, because I really like that eye doctor. He's awesome. But man, I was like...
They're just literally too popular.
Yeah, just literally, yeah. You get to the point where it's like, and like, I don't want to use the excuse, but like, I have kids and stuff.
Remember
and I don't want to have
Sephiroth?
to, like, yeah. Hey! Just right after the Gene attack thing. But, yeah, it's just like, I cannot set up an appointment. It's not like, it would be different if it's like, I need spinal surgery, and there's this really great spinal surgeon, and he's booked up 5 months. It's like, okay, right? Because otherwise, like, how many spinal surgeons are there that are really great? But, like, optometrists, it's like, they check your eyes, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying anything against the thing, but there's tons of optometrists out there, so I was like, I'm not waiting 5 months. And the funny thing is, our dad is like one of the Costco cult people. He literally goes there, he'll drive, it's got to be at least 20 minutes to our Costco, maybe more. And he'll go there just to get gas. Like, he'll drive 10 miles just to get gas there, and he'll wait in line 20, 30 minutes just to get gas there. And I'm like, I would never do this. I can't imagine waiting in line that long to get gas. I watched a video the other day about it was called The Cult of Costco, and it had a good point. It was like, these people drive past 20 places that sell gas just to go to Costco's gas. And it's like, it's the same gas. It might be a couple cents cheaper, but it's not like, oh, this is the gas, right? And it's like, oh my god.
I'm like the complete opposite. Like, last couple years, I go to like an objectively like not great grocery store that doesn't have the best selection, definitely doesn't have the best prices, but I just go there because it is... The benefit is that they're dead all the time. Whenever I go there, I can just check out in 2 seconds.
Which...
So nice. I go to Redner's.
Oh, okay.
It's not awful, but...
No,
like,
not at all.
But even, like, right next to it, the Wise is, like, better in every way.
Wise is more expensive, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess so. Redner's is not cheap.
And right next to it, on the other side, is Ebenezer's, but the problem with Ebenezer's is that they have not the greatest hours, because they're, like, family-owned. So, like, they're closed on Sundays, which a ton of people go shopping on Sundays.
Yeah, and I only go after work, so they're, like, always closed.
Yeah, they close at, like, 8, so you would have no chance to go there, so... But yeah, there is, I'm not gonna lie, there are times where I'll go to places, like Trevor was saying, like, I'll be like, I will pay 10% more if it's not an awful experience. Like, we don't go to Walmart too often anymore because it's like, yeah, it'll be 10% less, but then I have to be in Walmart. You know what I mean? It's
the
like,
last time I ever went to Walmart, which was like easily 5 years ago, maybe even like 7 or 8 years ago, but like it was really busy, it was awful. The checkout took forever, and I got recognized 2 times there.
Wow.
And the one guy was like, how much cash? I'm not even making this up, this isn't a joke. Someone was like, how much cash is this thing? I'm like, screw you, dude.
My god.
And then I never went to Walmart again.
People don't even ask me that. That's so weird. Alright, here's question of the part. We'll talk about Final Fantasy then. But here's question of the part. What's another brand or place, hopefully place, like Costco that has that cult of personality? Let us know below. Because Costco definitely has that cult of personality.
Imagine if Apple made a Mega Mart.
I mean, I feel like we're getting to that point at some point. Like Amazon,
so awesome.
Amazon has stores, right? Like, but only in like major cities.
Amazon also owns that like Whole Foods place.
Oh, that's right, they do. That kind of has a cult of personality, but it's like a little less crazy. You know what place, if you ever want, it's in Lancaster, but probably the most expensive place besides Whole Foods, but their stuff is so good. It's called Wegmans. It's near where the Toys R Us was, which is near Park City. We only go there for, like, special occasions, but don't get your normal groceries there. Like, don't get, like, boxed mac and cheese there, but get, like, their ready-made stuff. Oh my gosh, it is so good.
Never heard of it.
It's unbelievable. But again, it is like, if you get like one meal for the family, it's going to be kind of almost as much as eating out, but it's also like amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah. I don't think we've been there in the last 6 months or so, but it's pretty awesome. I always, for brands besides Apple, the other one that I always think is so funny is Monster Energy. People are like obsessed with Monster Energy. I had them in the past. I don't drink energy drinks anymore, but I've had them in the past. But man, like, people like get tattoos and are like proud of how many, like,
Guess we're back.
I can't think of anything where I'm like, where I eat or drink and I'm like, I'm so proud of how much of this I eat.
The weirdest cult of personality, even more than Apple or like anything like that, is like clothing brands, especially like Supreme or just like people that are like avid like Nike fans. Just like, why?
Yeah.
It's all coming out of a Chinese sweatshop.
Yeah.
Who
The only
cares?
thing I will say about Nike, and I'm not a Nike person at all, is the few things I've owned, like I've owned some cleats for like football, and they're generally pretty good. It's going to be expensive as heck, but it's generally pretty good. Whereas I've never owned anything made by Supreme, but it doesn't look like I'm like, oh, this is the most comfortable thing ever made. 100%, what's that really expensive thread type?
Oh, cashmere.
Cashmere, thank you. 100% cashmere, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, I get that.
That lives rent-free in my mind just because the Seinfeld episode.
Oh, yeah, the cashmere sweater.
Yeah, that's like
Yes.
one of my favorite episodes.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Very good. But, like, if they were like, we literally use the best stuff on Earth, I'd be like, okay. But, like, I've seen Supreme stuff, and I'm like, that looks like a sweater I would buy at Walmart.
Supreme's entire gimmick is that they do like one-and-done runs of clothing where it's like, it's peak FOMO. Where it's like, they run a thing once and then never again. But, like, you pay so much for anything. Like, $500 for pants or, like, $300 for a shirt. But you can be like, this is one of 100 ever.
Listen,
But, like, at the same time, it's like, who cares? It is just a generic thing with that stupid Supreme logo on it.
I'll be the first to say, let he without sin cast the first stone. I'm not without sin here. I've spent a couple $100 on, like, dumb games that I played once and put on the shelf. I spent, like, $2K on the Simpsons pinball because I'm an idiot. Even though it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Anyway, what was I going to say? But I will never understand shoe collectors. Simply because, like, it doesn't make it doesn't make sense to me. Like, okay, a video game is something that can be enjoyed by everyone, right? Like, I could give you a game and you could play it. Whether or not you like it, that's up to you. But, like, I'm a size 11 shoe. If I got some fancy Jordan size 11 shoes and I was like, here, Trev, you can have these. They're great. Trevor would be like, I can't wear these. I'm not size 11.
Yeah, I'm size 13.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, and yet my feet are size 11 is pretty like standard, but like, why collect something that's so specific?
Also, like, if someone wore a pair of shoes and then sold them offhand, even coming from Spencer, I'd be like,
Yeah. It would have to be like, I've never worn them before.
It's like the only thing I could see myself like wearing secondhand is like most things, but like underwear and shoes, I don't think so.
I own a lot of football jerseys, but I buy almost all of them secondhand. Whether I just like scour eBay, if I'm like, I want a Browns jersey, and I find the cheapest Browns jersey on eBay or whatever, you know what I mean? But like, that's fine. But yeah, I wouldn't do socks secondhand. I wouldn't do underwear secondhand. But there's some people who, when like a new pair of Jordans comes out, they buy 2 pairs, one to wear, and they're like hundreds of dollars, one to wear and one to collect. And the crazy thing is, it's not a bad investment if you look at it that way, because it's not like they're gonna drop in price. But why? why? It's so crazy. I know a couple people who are really, really hardcore shoe collectors, and I'm like, I don't get it. I want one thing out of a shoe, and that's to be comfy. That's it. I personally prefer Vans because they're very comfy, and as a bonus, the style's not bad. I like it, and I think if you get a black pair of Vans, they go with literally everything. I'm not old enough yet. I'm not in dad mode enough yet to do the white New Balances. You know, the dad shoes. I'm not there yet.
I usually just buy whatever's on sale, although I haven't bought shoes in forever.
I'm not gonna lie. I spent like $70 on that pair of Vans. I know, but and I was like, oh god, this sucks. But I looked it up because I was like, how long has it been since I bought these? It's literally been like 16 months. Because I looked through my credit card thing and was like, when did I go to the Vans store? And I wore those every single day for 16 months. And they're finally at the point where I'm like, I should get a new pair of shoes. That's pretty damn good. Especially with our job, we're like walking around a lot. It's not like we sit around, you know. And I generally wear those if I'm taking just like a walk around the neighborhood or whatever. I don't wear them for like sports things, but although I could. But that's one of those things where I'm sick of buying like a $20 pair of random shoes and being like, this sucks.
Yeah, one thing I sort of like appearance-wise is how Converse look with jeans.
Oh, they're good.
I just bought some Converse like knockoffs because I was like, whatever, they're like $20, and then they like both the soles ripped in half after like a month.
Damn!
I was like, dang. I know I'm like heavy, but like it's like
no, that's ridiculous. Yo, check out Vans. Seriously, they are again $60-$70 is generally where you're gonna spend.
Yeah. And I only wear Converse in like the fall and winter when I'm wearing jeans.
That makes sense.
I think they look so stupid with shorts.
I have a little bit of wide feet too, so it makes sense. But it's I don't know. I really like them. But then again, I'm like I said, I'm not like one of those brand people where like I'm not at a point in my life where I'm like I'll only wear Vans. Like if you showed me something else that was equally as comfy, I'd be like, okay,
yeah.
Like I don't care. I think there's some point where being loyal to a brand is awesome, but at some point where you can take it too far. Here's just a small example. So like say when PS5s first came out. It was pure COVID time. It was like November 2020, so it was like just the height of COVID. And I had customers that were like, hey, when are you getting them? And I was like, dude, I legitimately, it could be a year. Like, legit. And it was. Like, for the most part, we didn't see any for like a year.
Yeah, 2021 was awful.
And that was still at the time for like 6 months or a year with PS5s. They were going for like $800. And I would tell them, like, I'm serious. Our distributor has no plans of carrying them right now, blah, blah, blah. And some customers would be like, that's okay, I'll wait. I want to get them from you. And I was like, I am so appreciative of that. I really am. That is, like, amazing. But I'm telling you right now that it could literally be 2022 by the time that we get them. And they're like, that's fine. And I'm like, are you sure? Because you can look around and they're like, no, I want to get it from you. And I'm like, that's almost to the point where it's like so appreciative and so awesome, but I just wish, like in a way, that they would be like, you know what? If I see a PS5 for sale at Walmart, I'll just get it, and then I'll just get games and stuff from you guys. Because in a weird way, that puts pressure on us to be like, when are we getting it? You know what I mean? That always happens when new systems come out. I'm like, I can guarantee nothing, and it's going to be months. And they're like, that's fine. I'll just keep checking back every couple weeks. I'm like, you can, and I appreciate that. But it's literally like the Switch 2. I know that our distributor's gonna like help us out when that comes out and probably get us. Do you remember how many we got for the Switch? It was like maybe like a dozen, something like that. I also usually cap it because 300 times 12 is what, $3,600. Not even including software.
Also, for people that like are like, oh, I want to support those guys, we make absolutely nothing on new hardware.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about it that way, you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it.
You can buy it from literally anywhere.
They-
I bet even like Amazon doesn't make that much
Oh,
money.
probably not. You know, we haven't gotten any new hardware. I haven't. The only new hardware I ordered in the last 2 years is a couple of the Tears of the Kingdom Switch OLEDs. and we got so many used traded in like a couple months later that I was like, okay, I don't have to order this again. That's great.
We even have like so many PS5s.
It's great. It in what is it? It's June.
Yeah,
by October, it's going to be completely different.
They'll all disappear. Every time I think like there's a time when we had like 25 Switch Lites or something ridiculous. I was like, oh boy, they're just going to sit forever.
Do you remember?
And then they all sold.
Do you remember during it was either 2020 or 2021 where it was definitely when the PS5 came out. I forget who said it. I think it was RJ. No, it might have been Tyler. It might have been RJ.
Remember Sephora?
And we had so many PS4s that I had a bunch in our storage area and also a bunch in our back room. Do you remember that? Like where the comic boxes are? And I forget who it was. It might have been Tyler. Who was like, you have to stop buying PS4s. And I was like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. The winter's gonna come. We're gonna be okay. And they were like, seriously, you have, like, we literally have, like, 50 of them. And I was like, it's gonna be fine. And then, like, 3 months later, like, in December or whatever, we slowly drip feed through all of them. And I was like, okay. I am, at this point now, since the PS5 has been out for, like, 4 years, I'm like, okay. Now we don't have to have 50 or 60 PS4s. Especially since it's backwards compatible. Man...
Yeah, that's especially why the PS4 is so worthless.
Backwards compatibility is really great for the consumer, but it's just in a small way it's bad for the consumer as well, because the second that system becomes backwards compatible, it means that the system that they spent $400 on 5-6 years ago is essentially worthless. That's the only bad part.
It also kind of makes e-waste too, because it like they're just making something that directly replaces the old thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it. Like looking back on it 15 years later, I love the fact that Wii plays GameCube games, because if we're out of GameCubes, I can be like, you can get a Wii. They play them. But with I don't know, with PS4, it kind of stinks that PS5 is fully backwards compatible just for that. Because I feel bad when someone's like, hey, I upgraded, I have 3 PS4s, and I'm like, please don't bring them in. Please.
Yeah, and PS2s are still super popular because those fully backwards compatible PS3s are a meme and are impossible to find for less than $500. Also, anyone that thinks about doing that, don't do it because they are garbage and break.
Yeah. Unless, I'll say with the one asterisk of, if you are really good at soldering and you have your own heat station, or you have someone that'll reflow the system for you for free or cheap, like every 6 months or year, then that's fine, but it seems like a lot of work when you could just get a PS2.
Prepare to spend $500 for it, and then spending like $100 per year on maintenance.
That's probably something, over the course of the 13 years of the store, I've probably explained 2,000 times, maybe more. Of just like, hey, do you have any backwards compatible PS3s? Oh, we don't carry them. Oh, why not? And then having to explain, they break all the time. And then someone will always be like, looking to trade one, and they're like, mine hasn't broken. And I'm like, it will. Sorry. Because someone's going to buy it.
And it's like, we sell PS3s for $80, but if we get those backwards compatible PS3s, we have to sell them for
somewhat market value.
Less than eBay, but like if we sell them for $80, resellers are just going to buy them.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to charge like $350 or $400. And when you like see that, it's like, what? Yeah. That's so much.
Then you have to explain, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, that's why we don't even bother with fat PS3s at all.
And someone's going to buy a fat PS3, and they're going to be like, oh, sweet. And they're going to go home and play GTA 5, like, online for, like, 12 straight hours overnight. And it's going to yellow light, and they're going to be like, what happened? It's like, you got to treat that thing like it's a literal baby, like a baby bird. You have to play it for like an hour and be like, rest, my darling. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna play Fortnite with the boys all night. Like, no, stop.
And it becomes really weird because I would recommend people, if they have a backwards compatible PS3, to get a normal Slim PS3 just to play PS3 games.
Right.
So then the PS3 itself they have is just for PS2 games.
Right.
Because all PS3s can play PS1 games.
Right.
So that doesn't matter.
So what's the point then? Yeah. Because if you think about it, if that system, they stopped making them in like 07, 08, maybe 07 actually.
They did not last long.
Yeah, they didn't last long.
And there's even like fake backwards compatible ones that do with software, and they're like way worse than the hardware ones.
Right. So, you're playing a game from... Last of Us came out in 2013. You're playing a game from 2013 with that new graphical tech on a system that was produced in 07. Bruh. Or you get, like, the newest Madden, which was Madden 17, which was made in 2016. So you're putting it on, like, a 10-year-old system and being like, play. Like, no, stop.
Yeah.